PC18, breaking chains.
Welcome to this preview of the PC18 Disc Golf Course. This disc golf course is located in Fairgrove, Missouri, and is presented to you by Peace Chapel, which is located just across the street and has donated this awesome piece of property for us to play disc golf on. We're going to give you an idea of what the layout of this course looks like today.
Hole number 1 comes in at 270 feet.
Hole number 1, the first par 3, the first time you step off of the tee pad, you're throwing right into the woods. We've got a Mando over here on the left side. There's a Mando on the right side as well, with 2 gaps, the bigger of the 2 being on the left. Really just going down through this tunnel in the woods, and a huge death putt right at the basket.
Yeah, got to be real careful as you're coming up on that putt. Here we have hole number 2, a little bit shorter at 210 feet. Pretty close to a straight shot, but you do have some trees you got to watch out for.
Definitely, and you really have 2 gaps that you can go for. You can either take the forehand line or the backhand line. You can definitely hit something on your way out. There also is OB once you get out on both sides.
Hole number 3 definitely is a lot longer. At 355 feet, you have a lot of out of bounds to your left and all those trees to your right. One little mistake on your throw and you'll be looking for your disc.
It definitely gets thick on the right side. Now you are wanting to have a shot that makes it all the way around this bend, because if you can give yourself a spot, whether you enter the woods right at the end or give yourself a layup, you do have a nice little shot here through the last trees into where the basket lays.
Hole number 4, slightly shorter at 345 feet, but significantly more trees to navigate.
Yeah, trees to navigate always makes it so much more difficult. Your first shot is uphill and on a turnover line. So really you're just trying to throw up to this junction that we're passing right here, because otherwise you're probably going to get knocked down by one of those guardians. After that, you have to hit this tunnel that leads you up to the basket. Try and stay on the left side of the fairway, because if you do get right, you're going to go downhill quick.
Hole number 5 is significantly shorter at 225 feet, but it has an incredibly tricky approach that you can overshoot very quickly.
Yes, sir. So again, you do have 2 different lines for this. You can take the wide sweeping forehand or take a putter right up the gut and just lay it to that tunnel. But you do have a 90-degree turn and a downhill putt.
Hole number 6, longer still, 350 feet, but you're going straight through the middle of these trees.
Yes, this is one of the most tricky holes on the entire course, and it really is a make or break. Someone can get a great score on this and make a lot of room for improvement for the rest of their game. So off the tee, if you throw a big shot, you can take that left gap all the way up, but if you do get stuck in that cluster of trees, you do have a Hyzer shot through the gap that we just flew through, which leads up to this final gap that leads right up to the basket. Again, very wooded the entire time.
Hole number 7 is a lot more open. At 250 feet, it is easy though to overshoot your gap and miss the target.
Yes, so this is finally getting us back out into the open just a little bit. You can take either a wide Hyzer, very high over the right side, or go directly at it up the gut. The basket is at rest underneath this awesome arched tree branch, and so it does make for a tricky green.
Hole 8 is the longest one yet, at 545 feet.
Yes, this is probably, if not the number 1 signature hole on the course. It's maybe debatable with hole 14, which we'll get to later, but this is a massive hole. A huge drive off the front takes you to the corner of the open grass area. Now, once you get to this corner, you do have a couple of options. So in this tunnel, you can choose to go right or you can choose to go left. Going left takes you on a downhill slope, and you have to keep your disc left to right. When you go right, exactly the opposite. You want to take the Hyzer line to get you through these trees. Now, there are multiple clusters of trees while you're in here, so you can kind of figure eight it if you want to. It's really just wherever your disc lands that gives you the best shot.
Hole number 9, one of the shortest holes on the course, 165 feet.
Yeah, so hole 9 is a sweet hole, man. It's just so cool. The way that the trees end up, it's like you just wandered off into this pine forest. And the way the trees are laid out, there are 3 perfect gaps to choose through to get to the basket.
Hole number 10 is 290 feet. Again, you're chasing through all these trees and you have a difficult shot to get right up to the basket.
Hole 10 is such a unique hole on this course because there is contour that comes into play that you see on no other holes. They have these awesome kind of winding ridges that follow the shape of the hole, and it's really the biggest Hyzer hole on the course. A lot of this course is left to right or straight or a turnover. This, you really just get to bomb it on a Hyzer. And there's a really cool finish to this hole with a big gully underneath the last ridge, and the basket sits right out on the other side.
Hole 11 has a lot of open space for you to play with. At 285 feet, it is easy to get right up to the basket and score a good score.
Yes, but it is also extremely easy to hit the out of bounds. I mean, that out of bounds is sitting right there just asking for you to hit it. And so it definitely is a scoreable hole. If you can get a 2 on this, you're going to make a big difference between you and your competitors who are maybe going to struggle with the out of bounds as well as the tree right off the tee pad.
Hole 12 comes in at 350 feet. Pretty similar to the last hole, you've got a lot of out of bounds to your left and those thick trees to your right.
Yes, sir. So you've, again, kind of got a 90-degree turn here. So really the play, there are a couple options. You can either lay up out to that kind of, that extra little triangle of space for an approach shot back to the basket, or you can play that huge turnover or wide sweeping forehand to try and get into the green. Now this is a tricky green as well, as it is completely surrounded by out of bounds or woods on the right-hand side.
Hole 13 is one of the longer holes on the course at 420 feet. It's a pretty straight shot, but look at those narrow hazards on either side.
Yeah, so the hazard is something new with this hole. So if you are in the tall grass on either side, you are actually playing as hazard. So you're going to play from where your disc lies. And the reason that is because of that last section right there. So you're kind of almost playing from a peninsula on the tee where the hazard kind of wraps around to it. And then you've got this awesome raised basket to finish.
And here is hole 14, the longest hole on the course at 560 feet with a mix between open space and heavily woods.
This is what I would say is the second signature hole on the course. It is huge off the tee. So on the right-hand side, again, so just like the last hole, we are going to play hazard. So if your disc does land in there, you can choose to throw it from where it lies. And again, that's because of this section that stretches out into the fairway. Now, once you get pretty much a full drive in, you still have to get through the trees and a ton of elevation. There's a couple different gaps that you can take. The way the drone is flying here is really the right gap, and you can see as we come up on this gully, there's an extra just huge drop off right before the basket where you really, if you can lay up to the edge of it, you can putt downhill, or you can try and get all the way down in one shot.
Followed immediately by the shortest hole on the course at 145 feet.
Yeah, but don't let that 145 feet trick you because, man, this is a difficult hole. There are probably 6 different ways that you can approach this hole, whether it's going up the right, the left, the middle, the right middle, the left middle. You choose your poison, but it is a tricky hole to get up there to the basket.
Lots of trees to knock you down. Then we have hole 16, slightly longer at 155 feet, but look at the contour on this. There's a lot of unique territory to cover before you get to that hole.
Yes, sir. This is probably the third and final signature hole of this course. This course is awesome in so many ways, but this hole provides something completely unique, which is an ace run through the trees, and you just can run it. There is some stuff to kind of protect you from back, but those 3 guardian trees right up front are going to knock a lot of discs down.
Then for 17, it is a lot longer at 420 feet, but you have a nice open area here surrounded by out of bounds.
Yes, this hole is so much trickier than it looks because you want to throw it full power. It is so easy to turn it over into that out of bounds section. The other cool thing about this hole is on the left side of this fairway, we do have a driving range. You can see exactly how far you've thrown it by looking at those markers on the left side. Not only are you just throwing through the open area though, but the basket does end again in the woods behind a couple of trees.
And finally, for hole 18, we have 440 feet. Pretty similar to the last one. There's a lot of open spaces here, but again, watch those out of bounds because it will pull your disc in a whole lot quicker than you expect.
Yes, sir. This hole is a true finishing hole 18. It is a very difficult par 3. A little too easy for a par 4, though. It's going to challenge a lot of people. There are out of bounds on both sides, but not only just a straight out of bounds shot. There is a wide sweeping right to left hyzer angle that needs to go on the disc. So really throwing a big hyzer off of the tee and approach shot up to the basket. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this preview of the PC18 disc golf course. We really hope you enjoy your time at the course. The Peace Chapel would like to thank you for coming out, and we hope you have an awesome time.